Hey guys, hey, it's Dawn. I am headed out to the garden, and we have had some big progress since our last garden tour, and I've actually got to harvest a few things out of the garden. We've been eating lettuce, we have been eating carrots, and I think garlic is about ready. But I will go ahead and take you with me and I will show you. My determinate tomatoes. I'm trying to speak a little bit louder because I know that it is a little windy and I'm not sure how the video is going to turn out, but hopefully it is going to turn out okay and you can hear me. So, I have got my Rio determinate tomatoes here, and I actually have got some tomatoes hidden back in there. These last year were very productive for me, so I'm hoping this year they are just as productive. But I have got 12 plants in here, and then over beside I have got 12 of the Floridad. This is my first time growing these, and I got these it was a free packet from Mi Gardener. And let's see, I think I have got a few in here, but it looks like I've got one that's got some rot. So I'm just going to pick that off. That way it doesn't use energy. And let's see, here's another Floridad, and we've definitely got some growth on there. Okay, and these are Kajari melons. This is my first time. I did grow them last year, but for some reason I either lost track of them or nothing grew. So this is my second year. First year was a definite failure, so I'm praying that we get some. And we've got some Tigger melons down here. Those are also the first for us, and can't wait. That's another rare melon. And actually, I'm going to show you before we get over to the garlic. I've got one that is drying on the trellis that I'm hoping that it dries out. I've never cured garlic, this being my first year harvesting it, so I'm just kind of experimenting before I pull it all out. And peppers. I have got several pepper plants. I have got the YOLO, and I have got some Grand. And in this bed last year I had tomatoes. This year I've got my peppers, and lo and behold, I have kept some. This is where I did my Rios. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I've got a couple little ones there. So I actually got about 7 volunteer tomato plants over here where they were. Oh, look at there. There's another 8. This area right here, I did a second round of carrots, and for some reason I did not get a whole lot of carrots. My first concession sow of carrots are doing really well, and they're just about ready, but for some reason I want to say I left them covered too long with the boards, because when you sow carrots, they are so tiny, the seeds, that when the wind blows, it can blow them. So I ended up, I watered, and then I covered them up with 2x4 boards, and I left it there for a few days, and for whatever reason they germinated, the seeds did, faster than what I thought. So when I lifted the boards, they were very leggy, but they were dying. So I think I just left them covered too long. So another tip and another thing for me as a new gardener to remember to make sure I check those every day. This bed is my flower and pollination bed. So here are some zinnias and some more zinnias, and look at this sunflower. This is a mammoth sunflower, and I cannot wait for it to bloom for the head. I'm so excited. And on down here we've got some snapdragons, which they are the different colors. Those are very pretty. And then here I've got some carnations, which are not flowering or heading yet, hopefully soon. Okay, and some red cabbage. I've got teeny tiny little heads, and there's another one. And another. They are looking beautiful. I do look under the leaves every day just to make sure that I'm not getting any bugs, and I have not seen any, so keep our fingers crossed. So over here I've got cabbage, and it's doing awesome. I cannot wait. The cabbage I am doing coleslaw with the carrots that I have, and then the red and green cabbage. Super excited. This will be my first year preserving cabbage. And if you can see down there, we've got some kohlrabi. I did purple Vienna last year, and I have a couple over in the other little garden. There's a better. I think I have an infestation of something. I see some little black stuff in that kohlrabi. Onions are doing really well. Cannot wait to use those and to store those. Guys, I am super excited about my second round of potatoes. Looks awesome. Once I get another bed emptied, I'm going to do a third round, but I cannot wait to see how these turn out. So the bed I am about to show you is my most productive, and it's my first one that I did of the season, and it has got it has 5 different veggies in it, and I am really excited that it is producing, and it is productive. Ta-da! This is my first. And the garlic that I did is actually, it's been in here since November, and as I mentioned, it is getting ready to be harvested. It is now cloving. The issue I thought I was going to have is it not cloving. I picked a few of them last month and then did some further research, and July is about the time that I'm going to harvest the garlic. And my second is peas. These are my sugar snap peas, and I have harvested, gosh, probably 20 bags for stir fry, and those are in the freezer. So next over here, I have not grown these before, but let me see if I can't get a better. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, there we go. These are 8-ball squash. They are round, and I cannot wait to harvest some of these. These should be ready to harvest, I would say, probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. That was our third veggie that's in here. Now we are on to the carrots. And carrots, they are looking amazing. Cannot wait to get these out of here. I'm going to use these for preserving for a side dish, and then also for soups and salads. And that was the fourth. And the fifth. The fifth one is spaghetti squash, and this guy is growing so fast, so I've been keeping an eye on him. Alright, and here was the kiddie pool that I just got planted, and they seem to be taking well, so I can't wait. Here guys, look at that thing. Isn't she gorgeous? She has multiple heads. That's the first one. There's another here, here, here. Yeah, she's got quite a few. So super excited when she actually blooms in all of her glory. So kind of a little bit embarrassed, but the storms and everything has caught up with me, and these are where my indeterminate tomatoes are. And let me see, I have got Kellogg's breakfast, I have got brandy, wine, and then I've got a couple trophies in here. And I have got a rose that is in here. And then throughout I've got some basil throughout the tomatoes, which smells awesome. And let's see, the trophy actually has a couple on there. And I have been actually really good, maybe not at the weeding, making sure that I'm getting the suckers out of the armpits. Oh! And down here, this is where the cherry tomatoes are. I have a Sun Gold tomato, And I have got a Sweet 100. I've got a couple of those. 3 of the Gobstoppers. It looks like we got a couple on there as well. So we do have a couple of items that we love to snack on in the garden, and one of them is the cucamelon, and they are so cute. Mine are taking forever to get established, and I don't know if I let them in their little containers a little bit too long, so they might be root bound, so they're taking a little while. But I've got three of those, and they're just babies, so when the time comes I'll show you those. My new addition, blackberries. I'm not sure. Ouch. These are Darrow blackberries. They definitely are not thornless. Alright, another new addition to the garden is a second grape. These are going to be purple grapes, and I've actually got them right beside this trellis, and I'm going to add some fencing so that way they can climb up. There's a couple zucchini plants that I started from seed. These are Black Beauties, and then I realized that the other ones, I probably had 6 plants, and the other ones didn't make it, but these are looking super. Here, let me see if I can find one. Oh yeah, there's one. So I ended up planting 6 more, so in total I have 8. And if you guys can see these tomato plants, I have hundreds. And this is where I had my cherry tomatoes last year, so I'm going to assume that they're cherry tomatoes, and I'm going to let those, I have hundreds, not even, that's probably, there could be more, but I'm going to see what happens. There's a watermelon. I did plant 10, and I think 7 came up, so we've got a good amount of watermelon. Those are crimson watermelons. More tomatoes are just everywhere. Alright guys, here is my second grape, and it's a green one, but as you can see, this is my first year of getting seeds, or this is my first year getting grapes. I had to put a netting because the birds were, as you can see, some of them. I've got bigger ones, and then I've got tiny ones. It's because where the birds had picked them off, so I had to go get some netting. But they're looking really good. Guys, there is purple kohlrabi. This I planted last year and it was super good. I'm not sure about the green. So the green looked like it was about to be ready to be harvested, so I can't wait to eat that and try. Got some more green cabbage over here. It's looking really good. It's got a few little holes, but I'm not seeing any eggs or bugs. Guys, I am so overwhelmed but joyful about the garden this year. I have so much going on. That's not even everything. I also have some raspberries, and then we haven't visited the strawberry patch yet. And then we also, remember, we added the 2 apple trees, which are doing good, and the peach tree that is doing good. So, alright guys, here is probably 20-25 more. These are beefsteaks, and I'm looking to find a place for these, a home. And I've got a couple honeycomb cherry tomatoes that I have not put in the garden yet. So there's a new addition to the cherry tomatoes. Guys, I also want to show you, I did show you this at the beginning of the season, and there was just lots of weeds, lots of things growing. Had no idea what I was going to put in here, and let me tell you, I had a big fail, and I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but hey, I would like to share my fails with you also, so you can learn with me, being a new gardener as well. So, in this bed, I know it's horrible. This bed, I was going to do a companion planting called the 3 Sisters. And what it does is that you plant the corn first, and then you plant the beans after you see life of the corn. So then your whole beans grow up your corn, and then that gives them stability. And then once you see growth of the beans, then your third step is to plant zucchini. And I actually did not get past step 2. Step 2 is the beans. And if you see, obviously, I planted the beans. Now I have bamboo sticks for my poles, because I, in this huge mess, have, there it is, I planted 50 some seeds of corn, and I have 1. And I was so sad that it did not go. I ended up planting the beans once I seen the growth of the corn, and then had to put poles in because there was no other corn for it to grow up. But good thing is, and successfully, the beans are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are using the poles, so that's not a complete fail. But I debated on just ripping everything out of here and starting over. And then I thought, you know what, I have plenty of room. I just showed you that whole new planting area. So, and looky here. Not a complete fail. I have 5 volunteer tomato plants. I don't know how they made it in here, because this was my pepper bed last year, and this was the first year for this bed, so I'm not quite sure how that worked out. And then I actually have a couple pepper plants. So with that said, not a whole complete fail. I have got several things in this. I have got the beans, the tomatoes, the peppers. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. And I'm going to keep the bed. I might try to weed it a little bit. But, so back to this whole area. Since my corn, I had 1 make it in the bed, I am going to plant corn. Some of you might think it another project that I talked to you guys about that I have not got to, and I promise after I get the corn in the ground that I am going to start it. And voila. I know you've seen it before, but this is where I'm going to do a compost. One here and one here. Obviously, once I get it cleaned out, we'll start. This will be zone 1 or unit 1, and then this will be 2. And once this, we'll start in 1. We'll get it composted, we'll get it started. Once it's all finished and ready, then we'll stick it over here in 2. And then we'll start another number 1. So once we get this all taken care of after the garden is all planted, that's my plan. I want to show you my basil really quick. Yesterday I did most of it, but heading and taking off these, I actually just pull them. That gives you continuous growth on your basil, but also if you can either preserve it or use it, but I actually use it in the garden and I just throw it around because it is a deterrent for some insects. So I just kind of throw it around, and that way by the time that I need to use it for my preserving and fresh, that it will be big. Alright guys, here are 5 of my pickling cucumbers that I have got at the entrance of the garden. And then I have got 5 more over here and on the other side. And my plan with the pickling cucumbers obviously are kosher dill slices and then wedges. And my favorite is bread and butter, so super excited to do that. And then maybe some whole pickles, I don't know yet, but we'll see. I definitely have 10 plants and all of them are doing well, so I'm hoping to get a big harvest this year. Alright guys, strawberries in here. And you guys, if you've seen my strawberry, or if you've seen my last video growing in the kiddie pool, this is why I have got them growing underneath the fence, trying to grow out. So I definitely need to I have to expand my strawberry patches. But if you can see, I have been picking and freezing and picking fresh. Alright guys, it's dawn. Hey, I am so happy, so excited that you joined me today in my second garden tour, and I definitely am going to be harvesting, so I will have another video out in a few days. And until next time, happy gardening. Please, please, please like and subscribe.